Okay.
All right. So my name is Brygette Bronco. I am the outside training programs manager with California Service Dog Academy, which is basically a very fancy way of saying I train service dogs. And today I'm going to get a little bit of information out there about CSDA, give you an insight into our programs and our requirements, and hopefully get some people started on a path to get the service dog or facility dog that they could use, or even help direct us to somebody that they know of that could use a service dog. That's what we're here for. So we'll go ahead and get started. California Service Dog Academy is a nonprofit that trains dogs to work in specialized settings. Right now we work with two types of dogs, facility dogs and service dogs for veterans. So our service dogs for veterans program is called the Sentinel Dogs program, and we're funded by a federal grant from the Wounded Warrior Service Dog program. This allows us to train and provide dogs to veterans free of charge, which is a big deal for this area. We've seen a lot of people get the help that they need through this grant, and we're very excited to be working with it again this year and hopefully help a few more people. We've helped quite a few get the service dogs that they need, and we see the improvements that and the benefits that they get from those dogs. So we're very excited to be working with that grant once again this year, and we are currently accepting applications for our Wave 3 program. Our facility dog program has just started up. It's about a month old, and right now we place facility dogs with first responders. Our program right now focuses on fire departments. We have two puppies with the Hanford Fire Department. They are absolutely adorable, love their jobs, and we're keeping a close eye on them. You can find a little bit more information about that on our website. And not only do we provide dogs, but we raise awareness and educate the public on service dogs, facility dogs, the different types of assistance dogs, ADA laws, and we definitely pride ourselves on holding ourselves to the highest standards when it comes to our dogs and our clients. We were started in 2018 by Matt and Rebecca Corso. They have a private training company called Your Pro Dog Trainer, which CSDA does work closely with because of the behavior consulting background that the staff at Your Pro Dog Trainer has. And they were getting a lot of requests for service dogs from people in this area, definitely recognized the need and decided to do something about it. And that's how CSDA was born. We are currently a candidate program for Assistance Dogs International. They have a very high standard for the dogs and handlers and the programs that they work with, staff, training, everything is just a very high standard, and we definitely pride ourselves on being a candidate program for ADI and hopefully becoming a partner program very soon. But we do recognize those standards, and we're looking forward to working very closely with them. So this is our facility dog program. You can see we have Asher and Tiller, the puppies right here. That picture right below with them in the fire outfit is their swearing in. They were actually sworn in as members of the Hanford Fire Department, and they've been doing an awesome job just hanging out with the firefighters right now. This program was started in response to the Porterville fire, the library fire, and the firefighters just reached out and kind of let us know that they were looking for a way to help deal with the stress and trauma that firefighters face on a daily basis, which is pretty similar to the symptoms that we see in a lot of our veterans. Dealing with high stress situations on a regular basis, it definitely takes a toll, and there's a lot of science behind it that dogs can help with that. All kinds of animals can help with that, and that's what we do. And so this program was started. And it differs a little bit from our service dog program in a couple ways. A facility dog is not a service dog. Service dogs are trained to work with one individual, while a facility dog works with many different individuals within an organization. A facility dog does have one specific handler. This handler makes sure that the dog is responding to cues, has a good attitude, is being compliant with the training, and having a positive impact. If a dog is not having a positive impact, they are not fulfilling their role, and the handler helps ensure that. So they can respond to a couple different cues, including stress, anxiety, depression, panic attacks, all kinds of stuff. It just depends on the setting that they are in, which varies as well. Facility dogs can be found in schools, doctor's offices, courthouses, police stations, libraries, all kinds. Like I said, right now we're working on fire departments. And so depending on the facility, dogs can be trained to respond to different cues. So that being said, facility dogs are not service dogs, therefore they are not protected by the ADA, but they do have rights within the facility where they work. So our facility dog program is currently only focused on first responders, but we provide the dog, the training, and support throughout the dog's working life. It can be very difficult. It's almost like training a service dog. Some may say it's a little more difficult because of the cues they have to respond to, being a more varied response based on each individual and having to work with a variety of individuals. But we're training our specialty is working with that type of training. So we're very happy to be able to provide that support and training and guidance with the facility dogs. So each facility, depending on where we place, has different training requirements, and we work with each facility to make sure that the dogs are doing their job. Like I said, positive impact is our goal, and we want to make sure that they are having that impact. The facility where the dog will be working must support the program. That is a requirement, and must have one assigned handler that does not change. Moving on to our service dog program. So a service dog is one individual. The dog works with that one person for that one person's disability, specifically trained, custom trained to those disabilities to mitigate them. And therefore they are protected by the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. They have legal rights and protection under the law. And basically, I know it sounds kind of weird to say, but they are seen as medical equipment because of the services that they provide. So not only does CSDA provide the dog training, whatever the veteran needs, they also provide a lot of the services that come with having a service dog, which is letting people know about the ADA and advocating for service dog rights. If people come into contact with businesses who are confrontational to service dogs or just don't have the knowledge of service dogs that they should. So you can see in this picture here, we have a variety of shapes and sizes, breeds, colors. Every single dog we can find that fits our standards for becoming a service dog can be evaluated. There is no, a service dog doesn't have to be a golden retriever, doesn't have to be a German shepherd, doesn't have to be a lab. It could be a pit bull. It could be a little tiny dog like Scruffy in the picture here. As long as they are providing a service to the veteran, to their handler, they are a service dog. So CSDA does a lot of that as well. We do train a lot of tasks for different disabilities. We don't just do PTSD or psychiatric service dogs. We can train diabetes alert dogs, seizure alert dogs. We can help with mobility issues. The only things that we don't train currently are assistance for hearing impaired or visually impaired people. That is that's kind of a more complicated training process because of the services that the dog must provide. So we leave that up to Guide Dogs for the Blind, other facilities that have, a bigger training program. We're more focused on our veteran program currently. There we go. So service dogs can be trained to help with a variety of things. For example, PTSD flashbacks, we can train a dog to recognize the signs of a flashback and interrupt those flashbacks. If a veteran has trouble entering a dark room, we can train a dog to go into the room and either check the room or turn the lights on. If a veteran is unable to bend over, we can ask the dog to pick things up and hand them to people, hand them to the owner, hand, for, say, money to a cashier, something like that. If there is any fatigue or slow movement, while the veteran is in some situation needs to get out of, we can train the dog to respond to that and help the veteran to a safe place or out of the way. Dogs can be trained to call 911 or other emergency phone numbers on special dog phones. We do that as well. If there's any type of anxiety or discomfort, sorry about that, we can train a dog to work with that as well. So there are a couple things that we do. It just depends on the veteran, depends on the dog. So like I said, each of our dogs is custom trained to the veteran. That's part of our program that we are very proud of. We're not some giant cookie cutter, each service dog knows this, that, the other thing, X, Y, Z. We look at each person, we look at each individual and their needs, and we train the dog to help with exactly those needs. Because of that, our program is a lot more involved. We do a lot of one-on-one private training, group training in small settings to make sure that the handler is A, aware of what they're training the dog to do, and B, building that bond with their dog while they're working, which creates a much stronger team. And we've seen the benefits of that for sure. All right, so there are a couple different types of assistance dogs. We've talked about service dogs, which are trained to perform tasks for an individual with a disability. It's not on here, but we talked a little bit about facility dogs, which are kind of the same as therapy dogs, trained to help a variety of people in a specific setting. And there are also emotional support dogs, which are medically prescribed, but do not have rights under the ADA. So an emotional support dog can be allowed access into, say, an apartment that wouldn't normally allow pets, but can't take an emotional support dog into a restaurant. So in order to qualify for a service dog, you must have a disability. So we always recommend talking to your doctor or even talking to CSDA staff if you aren't sure if you have a disability. We've had a lot of people who feel that their disability isn't severe or doesn't require a service dog, and that's not necessarily true. Some of the stigma that we run into is that, it doesn't keep me from going through daily life. And that's not necessarily the definition of a disability. A disability is anything that inhibits daily life. So it wouldn't prevent you from going to the store, but having a service dog trained to help would make it easier. And so part of our job, as I said before, is raising awareness. And we definitely recommend talking to anybody. If you're interested in a service dog, reach out and we can help answer any questions that you might have. Physical and mental impairments can qualify for a service dog. As long as the service dog is aimed at improving quality of life, that's a service dog. So a service dog isn't right for everyone. We do say that, it's basically physical proof that you have a disability, and some people aren't comfortable with that. There are types of anxiety that can be made worse with a service dog. Just being in a situation with a service dog can draw a lot of eyes, draw a lot of attention, and sometimes it does more harm than good. However, we're here to help through that. That's part of our 6-week handler course, is how to work with people who are confrontational about service dogs and kind of help ease that anxiety. But definitely talk to us. Even if you don't have a disability, you can benefit from another type of assistance animal possibly, and CSDA could possibly help with that as well. All right, so our Sentinel Dog program, as I said before, is focused on veterans. It's currently the only program that we provide service dogs for. We don't do private service dog training at this time, but we can refer to another program that does if you are interested and not a veteran. So please reach out to us for any questions you have on that. All requirements, which I'll go over in just a bit, must be met prior to entry into the program. Once in the program, we have our 6-week handler course. This prepares the handler to receive and work with a dog. It's a very big commitment. It takes about 6 months to a year to fully work with CSDA in order to get a service dog trained to the point where we don't require you to meet with us. And so in order to get ready for the training that we require, we have all our handlers do a 6-week course, which goes over the basics of owning a dog, training a dog, service dog laws, confrontation, everything that we can think of to make the service dog process easier, we try to include in this course. After that course is complete, training sessions and dog matching are on the way. So, we work with each individual to make sure that every dog that we provide them with is going to be a good fit for them. We also work with that individual if they have their own dog. We do an evaluation to make sure the dog is suitable for service dog work. and then we start training. And like I said, that's done in pretty small settings. It's not a huge course. It's, we most of the time we'll have multiple trainers there to work with each individual. And we want to make sure that we're providing a good service. So our training programs are focused on each individual person and each individual dog. Yeah, so dogs are trained to fit each person's needs, and we definitely love being able to say that we can do that. So applying for the Sentinel Dog program, the requirements are the following. Like I said, it's just for veterans at this time. So anybody who is a veteran, anybody who has a disability, so that is a requirement for any service dog, is having a disability. We ask for a DD-214, and we ask a doctor's note, just recommending a service dog and in support of a service dog for the particular disability. And we also ask that you are willing to do some of the work, because it's a pretty difficult program to work with. But you can see all of our information down at our website, californiaservicedogacademy.com. So a little bit about our training standards. As I mentioned with ADI, we are dedicated to using positive reinforcement. That is something that we do not move from. We are very strict that we only use our positive reinforcement training. Not only is it better for the dog, but a lot of the time it's better for the veteran, better for the handler, and builds a better bond. So we are definitely dedicated to that, and we do see the therapy of using positive reinforcement training. So our training focuses on each individual, and that's something that we don't see a lot of in bigger companies. And so we like to see each of our individual teams. We have checkups, we have regular meetings, we make sure everybody's meeting the standards and that the expectations are being met for each person. So some frequently asked questions. We can help with, if you don't qualify for a service dog, we can help someone get an emotional support animal or a therapy dog. Our veteran and first responder programs do take priority, so it may be that you're placed on a wait list or referred to another program, but we don't really turn anyone away. We can offer advice on service dogs, or answer general questions, or if somebody needs help, we try to help everyone that we possibly can. As I stated before, the process is about 6 months to a year in order to get the dog to a spot where we feel comfortable not having to check in regularly. And we do help non-veterans, but like I said, veterans do take priority, and you may be placed on a waiting list or even referred out to a different program. Even if it's just getting advice, we try to help everybody that comes to us for any advice. Outside of our area, we can help some veterans. We do work with other programs if the veteran is outside of our service area by a couple hours, but we will work with anybody that we can and get them the help that they need. And that's all I have for you guys. So do we have any questions?
Actually, we do. So Joseph told his mom or dad, I'm not sure, that he had a question. He wants to know how service dogs save people.
So service dogs save people a lot of different ways, and it's dependent on the person. So for example, we can train dogs to detect seizures, and the way that works is the dog can let the person know that they're going to have a seizure, and that way the person can either get to a safe spot or get the help that they need before. That way when they do have a seizure, they're safe and getting the help that they need. There's also a lot of people who struggle with anxiety or depression, and having a dog, it's not as instant as saving someone from having a seizure in a dangerous spot, but over the course of time, it can help provide purpose to someone and help them get out of bed and take care of themselves because they have a dog that they need to take care of as well. So there are a lot of different ways that service dogs help people, and it just depends. And the main purpose of a service dog, I think, is companionship and just providing a positive feeling for a lot of people. It's hard to look at a dog and be mad, and it's hard to pet a dog and be sad. So a lot of what we do is just help people feel better. And I think that's a big part of it as well. Good question, Joseph. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. That firefighter puppy picture with the uniform on was so cute. And I'm afraid some people missed it. Can you
Oh
go back to that slide?
no! Let's go back here.
It
So this is
really
our first
was
one.
just the sweetest.
Yeah, so that's Asher and Tiller, and they are coming up on a few months old now, and they're doing so well in their training. They go to their kennels by themselves. They will sit and lay down, and we're working on stay and leave it. And
Oh,
pretty soon they'll be big dogs ready to help people. So they'll be giving people hugs and just smiling and being a happy presence around the fire station, which is something that
oh.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing.
All right, we do have another question in the chat. Brittany wants to know, does California Service Dog Academy hold events for veterans or participants that have been part of the program after their regular check-ins end as a
Yes.
way to build the community?
Yes, ma'am, we definitely do. Right now, a lot of our stuff is on hold due to COVID. We try to keep our gatherings to only essentials, and we're just trying to navigate the waters, as I'm sure everybody is. But we do regular check-ins, which are required for certification. So we do a public access test once a year. And we also do a lot of recruiting events that we try to involve our past veterans in. A lot of our news features, you'll see our older veterans from previous programs being featured and interviewed in those. And then we do a lot of get-togethers and kind of just company programs that all of our veterans are invited to. That we try to involve as many people as possible because we're so small. Every single person that we help, we keep in contact with, and you know, we it's hard to let go of a relationship like that. So we try to keep everybody as involved as possible.
All right, and then we have another question from Joseph. Why do the service dogs wear the special harness and scarves?
So a service dog is actually not required to wear a service dog vest or scarf or even a special collar. They don't need to. It's not required by law. But a lot of people find it helpful because some people will just run up to a dog and start petting a dog. And when it's a service dog, that's not a good thing to do. You could be distracting the dog from picking up on something important. Or helping the handler. And so having a vest on helps identify that dog as a service dog. And most of the time you'll see do not pet or working, please ignore on the service dog vest, which will help people also know that, okay, I shouldn't be petting this service dog because it's working. As I said before, a service dog is basically a piece of medical equipment in a good way because they help save the lives of the people that they work with. So making sure that that dog can be left alone by people, the vest identifies them as that, and that kind of helps with that. So once again, good question, Joseph. Thank you very much.
So I have a question about the need versus how many dogs you may have trained. Um, is there a waiting list, or do you sometimes find that you're actively looking for a place to place a dog, or how does that weigh out?
So we're always bringing dogs in. We'll evaluate any dog that's recommended to us just because we know that there's somebody out there who could benefit from this dog. And the longer we can work with a dog, the better.
Okay.
Right now, we are working with local people to try and get our dogs into foster homes. We think that that kind of provides a little bit more personal training for each dog. Because of everything that's going on with COVID, we're very limited as to what we feel comfortable doing with our dogs. We want to get them as much training and socialization as possible without putting them in harm's way. And placing them in a foster home is an excellent way to do that. So we're always working with people who are interested because we do have a need for some foster homes. We take priority, our veterans do take priority. If somebody is interested in joining Wave 3 who is a veteran but wants to take a dog in now, we look at them, make sure they're ready, put them through our handler course, and we'll place a dog with them And that kind of helps build that bond a little early before we start training and helps them get comfortable with the dog that they're going to be working with. But if you're interested in becoming a foster, there is information on our website, and it's kind of the same requirements as being in our program, which is we want check-ins, photos on how the dog's doing, and training logs filled out, feeding schedules written down. It's not an easy thing to do, but the benefits of it, you get to see the dog go to the veteran, and you get to be there and watch them graduate and see them become an actual working dog. You get to see the benefits of your hard work working with our dogs. So please check out that information on our website. You can also reach out to us on our social media pages. Send us a message, send me an email on any information that you have or any information that you need on becoming a foster.
Thank you so much, Brygette. It looks like we have another follow-up question from Brittany.
Okay.
She would like to know, does the service dog working life depend on the individual dog's lifespan, or is there a certain amount of time or years that are best for them to work before retiring?
So yeah, it depends on the dog itself, the lifespan, and their ability to work, their health. And it also depends on the tasks which they're trained to perform. So the working life of a dog is defined as the span with which they're able to effectively help their handler. So if a dog is in perfect health and can help their handler regularly, they're a working dog. If the dog is getting a little bit older and maybe can provide some assistance, but say, for example, the dog is trained to provide a brace, which is to stand still while the handler catches their balance or, needs to rest on them. And the dog, it has hip problems or bad elbows, they're getting older, and they can no longer effectively provide a brace, we'll look at retiring that dog. So, dogs who provide mobility support are definitely have a shorter working life than dogs who provide psychiatric support. So we look at each individual dog. Larger breeds do have a shorter lifespan in general, so their working life will be a little shorter. And dogs who are trained to provide more physically demanding tasks tend to, have a shorter working lifespan as well. But that's kind of, we evaluate it as we go along. Of course, there are health problems that we can't predict. All of our dogs are screened very effectively when we consider them for service dog work to make sure that they are going to have the best and longest help to their handler as possible. But there are always health conditions that pop up that we can't predict. And so each dog, that's why we do our regular yearly check-ins, is, regular evaluations of their health and their ability to help their handler. Thank you very much for that question.
Thank you so much, Brygette. This has really been just a wonderful presentation, and that we get to have this as a resource available through our website as a recording is just a gift. Thank you so much. I did put your website in the chat if anybody missed it. And at this time, if I can ask you to end your screen sharing, I'm just going to thank everyone for attending and share my screen so that I can tell you about some upcoming library events that are we do have on Saturday. Here we go. Sorry, I'm sure you can see it. I have something in my way on my screen, but this is on our website on the calendar. We have the Bearded You concert. This is also part of our Community Conversations with Veterans series. And the concert will be a ukulele concert with songs from the 60s and 70s, mostly folk and rock songs. And we're going to be pairing them with some materials that we also got from the grant for our Veterans Resource Center. So just give you a sneak peek because I have a whole stack of materials. There are a lot of different adult, and I have one children's book, and this one is My Daddy Sleeps Everywhere, and it's never been checked out, and it's so beautiful. And you'll have to attend to find out what song it's going to pair with.
Oh, I love it. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, so that's going to be Saturday at noon, and it will also be recorded. So if you're unable to attend it live, you can access the recording through our website. So again, thank you so much, Brygette. I really appreciate this. And thank you everyone for attending. I'm going to go ahead and end my recording of this. And Brygette, if you don't mind staying, I just have a couple of questions for you.
Of course.
After the room empties. So thank you, everyone. Okay, let's see here. Just trying to end my recording. I think I may have accidentally ended the recording early. I don't know.
We're still figuring it out. That's okay.
If this, here we go, stop recording. Okay.